Here come the boys. Y'all ready to go swimming, baby? Come on. Give it up. Get out of that water. I tried telling y'all, it's swim lessons, baby.
Welcome back to another episode of Swim Lessons. My name is Dallas Hansen. Thank you for joining us today. It's been a fun week here on Champion Week, a Swim Lessons production special. My guest today is head basketball coach Jason Horner and Parker Falcon of Bismarck Legacy, the Sabres, the great and powerful Sabres. I appreciate them taking some time to talk with me about the upcoming WDA tournament and also about their season thus far. It was very interesting to hear it from both perspectives. And at the same time, usually don't get that. And Parker Falcon's a fantastic basketball player, and Coach Horner is a fantastic coach. So appreciate both those guys taking some time. But before we get to this great interview, we got to talk about PSP Network. It's game day, promoting local student athletes for a very long time. Right now, they're in the heart of tournament season. And a way you can help out PSP Network is to go to www.psp.network. Right there, you can see all these different levels of pay-per-view. Make sure you buy that to support PSP. They're going to have all these different types of regional tournaments, Class B, Class A, and then also the WDA. I myself, I'll be doing a few games in all of those, along with the WDA. We've got a very special format coming out for the WDA. I'm so stoked to be a part of this. It's going to be phenomenal. We're still in the process of doing that, so make sure you check out PSP Network on YouTube, and also the good one, PSP.network. So check that out, PSP.network. Next is River's Edge Bar and Grill. They're in Williston, North Dakota. They're known for offering the best happy hour in town, providing unbeatable deals in a lively atmosphere. Guests can also enjoy a variety of entertaining activities, including bingo, trivia, and the very popular Name That Tune. Come on down to River's Edge for great drinks, great food, and great fun. And then it's Glasso Angus, a proud sponsor of Swim Lessons, the podcast. They're your premier source for registered black Angus cattle since 1973. Glasso Angus cattle showcase dominance, durability, and docility, and they're built to thrive on the northern plains. That's Glasso, Glasoe, Angus.com. Hey folks, also make sure you check out Plains Window Cleaning, interior and exterior window cleaning on residential and commercial buildings throughout North Dakota. Call Jacob today at 701-609-0405. Again, that's Jacob Broughton at Plains Window Cleaning. And last but not least, Game Day Media. More than a game. Your leader in live video sports coverage in Northwest North Dakota. At Game Day Media, our goal is to expose, support, and promote the best athletes that North Dakota has to offer. Subscribe to their channel at Game Day Media ND on YouTube, or find them on Facebook at Game Day Media. On that Facebook page, they'll have schedules, quick links to games, stats, everything you need for that favorite student athlete of yours. Appreciate all the sponsors. They make the world go round for Swim Lessons, the podcast. And I appreciate these two guys, Coach Horner and Parker Falcon. Fellas, thanks for doing this today. Greatly appreciate it.
Good morning.
Morning.
Coach Horner, let's start off with you. I was talking to Parker a little bit before we jumped on. The WDA, very interesting league thus far. You could kind of say it's up for grabs. We know kind of who the top one is right now, but the middle of the pack, very log jammed, if you will. What are your thoughts on the season thus far with the WDA?
Well, every year, it doesn't matter who you play. You have to be ready every night. So some of these, when you see some of these scores, especially as the year goes on, things tighten up. And, a 10 can bounce a 4 on any night. So it's rounding into a typical WDA season where people start to separate a little bit, but on any given Tuesday or Friday, anything can happen.
Yeah, we're officially here. Okay. Yeah. Parker, same question to you. Now, as a player, you obviously are a senior leader of your team, but you obviously want to make it to the state tournament. But this WDA, you got to get through that first.
Yeah, like he said, it's really anybody's game on anybody's night, and you have to show up and be ready to perform. Especially at the WDA tournament, everybody's ready to play, so you got to be at the top of your game. And I feel like we've done a good job of that the past couple of years that I've been here. We've always made a WDA tournament run and making it to state since I've been here, so I'm looking to make it a third year.
Parker, another question for you. So it feels like around the state, you've really had this nice transition period from your junior year of being a good player to now your senior year, a great player, great teammate, great leader. What's been a big thing for you to transition your game to this year?
The big thing is it's really this guy sitting right next to me. He's got on me about developing my game and taking it to the next level. And I think that he's done a really good job of doing that. And he's always on me in practice about, doing something, doing different stuff, like doing a reverse pivot instead of just being a spot up 3-point shooter. So I really think he's taken my game to the next level.
I love it. Coach Horner, what's it been like to watch Mr. Falcon?
Well, it's been an incredible journey just thinking about him. When he comes in as a freshman and you have a kind of a vision and a picture of what he'll be as a senior, he's surpassed that for me. Not just as a player, like he said, taking his game to the next level with, not just being primarily a 3-point shooter. Now he looks to post up. He looks to get the ball in the playmaker spot. His footwork has improved tremendously. It's going to help him at the next level. But the biggest thing for me has been his leadership. He's been a guy that is encouraging in practice, that pushes the other guys to follow him, and he leads by example. I think a great example of that was at Dickinson, where you could just feel it. He's like, "Get on my back, boys. We're going. We're not losing this game." And you need that. You need that on the road. You need that on every game you play in the WDA, especially in March in the tournament. You're going to need a guy like that.
I felt, and this is wide open to both you guys, but I was broadcasting that game for PSP. Humble plug to PSP. But you guys were down at half, and then Parker, you come out and hit that deep three, and I think that cut it to 7, right? 7.6 or 7 at halftime, but you guys were still down. But Parker, in those moments when the clock's coming down, you had it at the top of the key. What's going through your mind? Are you just thinking, I'm going to take this? Take us to that moment?
Are you talking about the play before half?
Yep. Brayden Dickinson.
So once I got it and I saw that there was less than 10, I just kind of called for a top of the key ball screen with our big guy, and I knew I was going to get a mismatch, so I just, and I was feeling it, so instead of taking it to the rim, I kind of just did a crossover and stepped into a 3.
Do you wear 24 because of Kobe?
Actually, I would be wearing 23 right now, but when I was a freshman here, Kellogg, he was wearing 23, so I had to go with 24, so I stuck with 24.
Well, it's a good fit. It's a great fit. And Parker, I was telling you too about how last night I was broadcasting the game, and the defensive coach was playing that chasing defense, if you will, the diamond and chaser. You get chased every night. What's it like to be chased every night and be face guarded and just have one of the best defenders on the other team trying to shut you down and shut you to like that 10 points or less avenue?
It's for me to kind of get open and score, it's kind of difficult, but I feel like when I get chased, it opens up more for our other teammates, because just say I'm sitting in the corner and they drive, they don't have help there, so it's either a layup or you can help and let me shoot a 3.
Did you school him last night for these questions? That was a perfect answer.
No, he's naturally this. Yeah,
that was a great answer,
Parker.
Natural. Yeah. What's going to be your mindset wise as you prep to go in this big tournament?
Well, you obviously you want to win every game, but we've talked about just the process over results. When you're results focused, it's never good enough. Yep. You know what I'm saying? You can never win enough. You can never score enough. You can never, whatever. If you're basing your happiness off of that, nothing's ever going to be good enough. We talk about the process taking care of the results. So if we're working towards being good teammates, working hard, developing an attack mindset, leadership, just all the things that you're going to need to get out of that 3-day tournament. That's what we're focused on, and it's been our focus since the beginning of the year, and it's especially going to be our focus these last 3 games, these last 3 weeks going into the tournament, is doing the things you need to do to win 2 games in March.
Yeah, my favorite question to ask you, and I had this one wrote down, and I made sure to remember it. How do you think Luke Powers would do in the WDA?
He'd get thrown out during warm-ups. You tell him I said that. Luke, I mean that too.
Shout out Luke Powers. I know you guys are buddies, and that's how you and I first met. But Parker, take us to a time where you start getting, because I love asking this question to athletes, you start getting recruited. Who was looking at you, and what was your mindset, and how was it this last year as a junior, or what was going on?
I believe my first text from a college, it was Minot State when I was a sophomore going into junior year.
So you were a sophomore?
Yeah, it was my 16U summer year.
Okay.
So Merkin got me and a couple other Phenom guys up there for an unofficial visit. And that was really the first school that really started talking to me. And then came a couple schools like Jamestown and then Mary. And I wouldn't say it was like a lot of interest, but I was a little bit NDSU and a little bit UND, but it was never really a crazy.
Does that piss you off?
You know, it's definitely something to always like have on me, because I feel, you know, I mean, I kind of have to say that I feel like I could get to that level, but obviously there's something that I'm not doing right, and I'm gonna figure it out.
Well, it's fuel to the fire.
Yes,
you know
exactly.
What's it like, Ben, to have all these guys come after Mr. Falcon here, Parker, and as a coach, were you like, okay, you got to settle down, we got to take care of things here at home, and then you can go to college?
You know, I talked to Parker a little bit about it, I think last summer, about you know, his decision and what he wanted to do. I think Minot State got a steal.
Me too.
It's
but I love Merkin, so I'm like,
and then they got a great coaching staff. I mean, you have a Hall of Fame coaching staff up there with Limke and Brandt and Coach Merkin. I mean, what a great fit.
Yeah.
It's somewhere that he can go and make an impact right away. And the thing about this, you have a 6'5" kid that can shoot it and now has a mid-range and a post-up game and guards the ball like he does and rebounds now like he's doing, and he's only going to get better and stronger. That's a steal. So I was thrilled as a former Minot State guy, selfishly, when he signed, but I was also really happy for him because it was the right decision for him. So his future is it's just so, I'm so excited to go watch him.
Well, they're recruiting a lot of North Dakota kids. Like
right.
they got the kid from Bishop Bryant. What's his name again? You mentioned
Ramsey Walls.
Ramsey Walls. He's fantastic. You know, they got 3. So I think that's going to help Minot State. They're good this year, but now you're going to get the big crowds because you got guys from North Dakota.
Yeah, they support, just from experience, they support a good team and they support local talent, and that's they love watching basketball in Minot. So like I said, it's going to be a great. I don't want him to go.
Yeah,
obviously,
sure.
But I'm really excited for him, and I'm really excited to see what he can do and what Coach Merkin can get out of him as well.
Yeah, I mean, Parker, what do you feel? Are you talking to a few of those guys that have already signed with Minot State, trying to establish a little bit of a relationship?
Oh yeah, I mean, I already have a great relationship with most of them because, you know, Drew, that was my first ever teammate. We were playing travel ball since second grade. Ramsey, I've been playing against him since second grade, and I was playing summer ball with him ever since 15U, and same with Drew. And we just added another one, Presley Peraza from Kindred.
Oh, wow.
He was also on my Phenom team, and he's also going there. So they'll be my roommates and suite mates. So we'll have the Phenom squad up there.
Yeah, well, tell us a little bit more about this ending Phenom, because that's the traveling team, right? Mm-hmm. What's that been like?
Yeah, you know, it's been good. We've traveled across the Midwest and some big tournaments here and there, and just the competition that we face going to these big tournaments, and just you know, really, it's like going on these tournaments, it's really like eye-opening with like how talented some kids really are playing basketball, because we play some kids from Chicago, Milwaukee, Vegas, and it's just like the level of how good somebody can be. It's crazy.
You're seeing different looks too.
Oh yeah,
So I mean, it's always good, and Coach, this is for you. It's always good to go to like these NDSU team camps, UND team camps, but I think a thing that's flipped the pendulum has been these like travel ball, because you're not just playing in North Dakota, Minnesota, you're going everywhere. Hey folks, hope you are enjoying this episode, but support for Swim Lessons, the podcast, comes from Brandon Weber, your Edward Jones financial advisor at 1600 2nd Avenue Southeast, Minot, North Dakota. For more information, visit edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Well, correct. And like he said, it's good to see good competition. I think the key to playing AAU, and this is just my opinion as a high school coach, is you can't substitute it for individual skill development. And Parker uses that as a gauge to see what he needs to work on, and he works on it. And so if you can go play different competition against really good players and see what your weaknesses are and what you need to get better at, and come to the gym and also work on your game as well, that's the key. If you use that just to go play and not work on your game, that's where I think it's kind of a waste of time and money and stuff like that. So finding that balance of going and doing that and then coming back and doing this, That's the key in my opinion, and that's what he's mastered.
Yeah. I mean, he really has. You've seen it this year, Parker, that game in Williston when you had the dunk over the Rivlin kid, and I lost my mind. My cameraman fell over, dude. I'm not kidding you. I said in the call, I'm like, my cameraman just fell over, and like, take us to that moment. You're driving up, and I said, I'm like, here goes Parker, because you could just tell you were ready, like a kid going for a long jump. I mean, it was a phenomenal play. What's going through your mind when you're starting to lift up?
I didn't know he was gonna. I didn't know he was gonna
go
jump.
after it either. I'm like,
it was just a turnover, and I see just me in the hoop right there, and I see a kid from Williston right here, but I got a couple steps on him, so I know that I'm quicker than him, and I can get up there. So I went up. I kind of leaped too. I took off from farther than I normally do.
Yeah.
But just went up.
It was a hell of a play, man. It was one of the plays of the year, I feel, in my mind, until this WDA tournament rolls around. I'm sure there'll be some more of those, but there's a thing happening in North Dakota, Coach, that I wanted to ask you about. Minot now has 2 high school teams. Mm-hmm. Bismarck has 3. Fargo has what? They have
three public,
3 public,
one
yeah.
private. Yeah.
Okay, so now you're kind of seeing this, I shouldn't say put it this way, but like kind of like talent searching in the town, because it's obviously going to affect Minot High. They lost a few kids to Minot North. You guys here in Bismarck fighting for kids, 3 schools. What's your thoughts on that and how it's going?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about, I think about more of it more as an opportunity for kids to play. And I don't think numbers have been hurt because of it. I think all 3 in the boys side anyway. I think girls sometimes, I think numbers are an issue, but for the boys side, it gives kids an opportunity to play high school basketball, and I think I'm all in favor of that. And it doesn't weed out kids so early, and so I like the fact that there's three schools in town that you can see a bunch of different kids that maybe are late bloomers and late developers that wouldn't have gotten that opportunity if there had been 2.
Yeah, I mean, legacy, you've been here for a long time. You've been building this program up. What's like some advice you would give to Minot North, who's just starting off?
I talked to Coach Hischelin up there a little bit. I think the toughest thing starting a program here that I really didn't consider is getting the culture set.
Yeah.
I kind of said to him too, the same thing I said earlier with you, is you can't be results based focused on that, because you have to worry about your process and building your expectations and holding your players accountable to the expectations. And I said, and hopefully you have supportive administration to do that. That's been the biggest challenge here, because if you think about it, if you play basketball for Darren Mattern, if you play basketball for Dean Winchesky, if you play football for Ron Wingenbach, Mark Gibson, you have expectations immediately the minute you step on the floor or on the field. Getting that established here has been a challenge, and we're getting there. It's been a slow process, but I feel like all the programs are starting to build towards that expectation where when you come into Legacy, this is what your expectations are, and we have to be there if we want to compete with the Minots and the Centuries and the Bismarcks and all the other schools as well.
Oh, great answer. Yeah. Parker, toughest place to play in WDA is where?
Ooh, that's a good question.
The Civic Center. No,
toughest place. I would say the toughest place that I've personally ever had to play is either a packed crowd at Century or a packed crowd at Minot.
Minot's tough. That's I mean I've been to a few games there when it's packed and you've got the band there, and yeah, it's loud in there.
Yep.
One of my favorite stories to tell was Dean Winchesky last year at the WDA. I can't remember if it was the semifinals of one of the games, but he's chewing his gum, calls a timeout, and he's talking to somebody, and the gum falls out on the floor, picks it up, and just keeps chewing it. I'm like, let's go, Dean. Let's go.
That does not surprise me.
And Coach, as a head coach of a great basketball program, how do you feel when those moments come when you're everything's, because everybody knows it's coached, everything kind of rushes by you. That's why you need good assistance. But as a coach, when you're in the game, you're trying to call timeout, what's going through your mind?
The hardest thing for me, and Parker can attest, because up at Minot North, when you're standing, it's really hard not to, because as a competitor and a former player, it's hard not to feel like you're out here.
Yeah.
So that's where I rely on Jacoby and Eric, and I'm like, you have to keep me centered a little bit. And so, Minot North, I slap at the ball when it's right next to me. I don't think you saw that, but it's right next to me, and you just have a moment where you're just, and you don't think. So it's really hard to get the competitor out of you when you're a coach, and trying to stay focused on what's going on and what you can do to help your guys. So like I said to them a couple of games, the last few games, is I'm not barking at the officials. I'm not going to be stomping around. Like, you are on your own. I have your back, but it's on you guys right now. And I have to focus on what we need to do with my staff and what we can do to put you in a position to win the game.
Oh, spot on. Parker, what about you as a player when the crowd's into it, you're trying to keep your rhythm going, you're being face guarded, what's going through your mind?
He's on me and a couple other guys about it, but when stuff either goes good or bad, you got to find a time to come together as a group and just stay as one and not get too crazy. And because as we've seen, once stuff starts going bad and you don't do something about it, it's really just one play and then the next play and then the next play, and it just goes downhill. So when you come together and just calm each other down, it's a lot different. It's a lot different.
That's what we say, is that if you think about it, this guy's walking away from each other has no strength, but this has strength. And that's kind of what we say to them, is like, we have to come together and be strong, because we start spreading apart, we have no power anymore.
I love it. Let's run through a wall here, Parker. I listen to Coach here. I love it. Some Phil Jackson stuff here this morning. This is a question for everybody in the state, but one of the better players I feel like on your team is correct me when I'm wrong, because when I was calling your game the other night, everybody's yelling at me in text messages saying, you're saying his name wrong. Rubo.
Correct.
Yep. Rubo.
Yep.
The 6'8" junior lefty.
Correct.
Has a chance, Parker, this is a question for you, has a chance to be a stud. And he's well on his way. But what does he have to do to kind of take that next step, which you've obviously done?
Yeah, my thing for Johnny, and I've talked to him about this actually. For Johnny, to take his game to the next level is just creating a nice handle and having a quicker first step going both directions, and having having a shot off a dribble as well. But really, if he has a ball handle and he has a tight handle, I feel like that's really a big part of his game.
I mean, you can't teach 6'8".
No. And the thing about Johnny, and I'll tell you as a coach, is we tell him, you have no idea how good you are.
Seriously.
And I don't think he believes it sometimes. And he's really good. And when if he wants it and wants to be, he can be the most dominant player on the floor,
1,000%.
Including with him on there, because he presents a challenge that is unsolvable if he wants it to be. So it's just a mindset too, is like, I'm pretty good down here and I can do things as well. And just being consistent with that approach, that's the difference for me. Between maybe scoring 6 points one night and 16 the next night. Now maybe you're scoring 15, 17, 19 consistently. It was just like, you can't stop me. And that's the roadblock, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, in Williston, he went off.
Yep.
I mean, Williston, he went off, and I was like, look at this kid. I kept saying, eat, because he was in the post just going at it. And then in Dickinson, he kind of tailed off.
Right.
And I mean, as a fan of the game of basketball, I truly hope he comes out of this shell, because we need him. He's a 6'8" stud just waiting in the wings, and he can help you guys to the next level.
He's the missing piece.
Yep. I mean, and it's kind of up to him in a way, but also it helps to have a great coach and a great teammate like you, Parker. So I hope he does, because I'm excited for him, and he can play at the next level.
Yep, 100%. He's got the skill set. He's got the size and athleticism to do it.
I'm not wrong with that, am I?
No, not at all. 100%.
Yeah, I think he's great. Okay, Coach, when you're coming into a big tournament like this, everybody's coach game understands this, but there's a lot of pressure, not only from administration, but you want to coach well for your players, you want to make parents happy. There's a lot of different pieces here. How do you handle that going into a tournament and try to kind of block out the noise, if you will, and just you and the boys?
Well, that's all it is. It's,
Yeah.
it's just you, and nothing else matters except for you and your guys. And yes, it's true. You feel pressure as a coach. You don't want to let people down. You don't want to let your guys down. You don't want to let your staff down. And right or wrong, you get the finger pointed at you if things don't go well. I understand that. I've been doing this long enough to understand how that works. But again, I feel like the work, I always tell the kids, is the confidence comes from demonstrated ability through hard work. So I go into a tournament confident, knowing that we put in the work, focusing on the right things, and having the right mindset. So I truly feel like that process takes care of the results. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. Like, you can't let one weekend define your season. So we go into each game individually, knowing each one is independent. We've gotten beat by 50 on a game, played well.
This year?
No, in the
years
a
past.
couple of years ago, where we win the first round game and then the semifinal round, like literally get beat by 50, and then the next day play our best game of the year to go to state.
Yep.
Kids are kids.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what you're going to get, which makes this job so much fun and interesting. But every game is independent from itself. Well, the thing I know about our guys is no matter what happens the next day, the previous day, the next day, they're going to be ready to go. And that's the mindset you have to have in that tournament.
Parker, same question to you. And I also want to ask, are you a big social media guy?
I hop on here and then, but I'm not too big.
That's good, because I feel like there's so much pressure put on young athletes today, specifically by guys like me who are in the media, like asking questions or like posting clips like, man, I don't know what's going to happen. And I just can't imagine as a young person. I didn't have to deal with social media too much, but like kids these days, Horner, they got to deal with everything.
I'm so glad I didn't grow up in that
too.
era.
I mean, we had ND preps.
Yeah.
That was it. Remember
right.
ND preps?
I didn't have ND prep. I didn't even have the internet, Dallas. Like, that's how long it's been. I didn't have, I didn't
smoke
have
signals
anything.
back
Yeah,
then.
pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, Parker, but as a player, when you're going into these type of tournaments, you gotta also understand, hey, I've got what it takes to lead this team to maybe a WDA championship. We've got the great pieces. We've got the great coach. What is your mindset going into these big league tournaments?
Our mindset has to just be to kill. It's really just got to be to kill and to win your matchup from the jump ball. It's you versus the guy that you're across from. And I think that if, we have to win our matchup, especially in the WDA tournament. And we have to be consistent with everything we do when it comes to shooting, when it comes to rebounding, when it comes to, not turning the ball over. We just got to put all those pieces together, and that's what it takes.
Coach, what do you think about that? Just to kill.
I love it. It's a mentality that you have to have, and to expand on what he just said, like Coach Jacoby Lloyd said the other night, is do your job. And that's the kind of what he kind of said, is you have to win your matchup. You have to do what you're supposed to do what you're coached to do. If you do your job, we'll be fine. And so, I love that answer. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Parker, that gave me chills. That was great. Okay, this is for both of you, but we'll start off with Coach. There's a lot of different things that happen coach scheme-wise. I've seen Mattern for Century come out and play man, and then a coach calls a timeout, sets up a play for man. He jumps out in a 1-3-1. Mm-hmm. So as a coach, how are you preparing for all these different types of defenses you're going to see here in this big tournament, and what's going to be your mindset there?
Well, you try to keep things as simple as you can and make adjustments as necessary. The key is not to run a bunch of different things because of different situations. Mm-hmm. So if a team goes... if we're running our motion offense and a team jumps to zone, we can still run motion concepts through that and just try to simplify and make adjustments as necessary. And maybe not just like going from man to zone, but just how you guard a specific player. Or if we got to maybe change who we're chasing, or just maybe our rotation needs to change. Like, it's those little things that maybe don't go noticed in the crowd that I think can maybe stop a run or get you on a run that can change the landscape of the game.
Yeah, spot on. Parker, and when you look at the WDA standings, who are a couple teams that you handpick and you're like, okay, I think we're going to have to beat this team. This team's going to be right there. Tell us a few that you think will be right there.
I've talked to a couple of the guys on the team about this. I think a team that we could play if we secure the 4th spot is Dickinson, because I believe then we would play the.
It could go a bunch of different ways right now.
Yeah,
So I mean,
it's really it's a tight race right now.
Just hypothetically saying, who's somebody you think will be at the top?
At the top, like of.
Yeah, it'll be in the semifinals, WDA. You're thinking, there we go. I was hoping he'd say that.
I was waiting for it.
I was waiting for it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Parker, the girls team here at Legacy is phenomenal. The Felkley girl, she's going to South Dakota State. Very good program. They've got Petrick's the coach name? Petrick, excuse me, Petrick. Your sister, very good player, Marley. What's it been like to have a sister that's very good at basketball and to kind of learn from you as well, and tell us a little bit about your family?
Marley, she's always had, the game that she's had now, and this is really, I've always got, because she's always played volleyball in the summertime, and I'm like, if you really want to take this seriously, you should really be playing summer ball. And she played Sanford, had a really good season, picked up a couple offers from some Summit League teams, and I've just got on her about expanding her game, because she's like how I was as a sophomore, just kind of a spot up shooter. And I told her that, at the level that you're at right now, if you do this and this, and you work on this, just wait. It's gonna be scary.
It's coming 1,000%. Coach, when are you going to start rocking a stash like Parker? Like the biggest question of the day.
I'm a little older than he is, and I don't think I can pull that off, to be honest with you.
You don't think so?
No, I don't know.
I love the look, by the way. I'm not making fun of it. I think it's great.
Plus, it's gray, and I'm a little pale, so it looks like I have, missing.
How about the Fu Manchu? You go all the way down.
Man, I don't know if my wife would like that at all, to be honest with you. I don't think I can rock that at all. I'm struggling with this just the way it is.
Well, listen, guys, we've been at this for 30 minutes already. I know time flies, but a question I asked everybody, and we'll start with you, Coach. Swim Lessons is a podcast about overcoming tough times. As a coach, you've been through it, but leave us with something, and something that you do when your back's against the wall and you got to push through.
Well, if you're overcoming, there's a lot of things you can answer that with, but the one thing I would say as a guy who's been doing this for a long time, has played and coached a lot of basketball games, is one, enjoy the moment. Enjoy the moment with your guys, even the tough ones. Like, embrace that. You're going to get through it. You're going to be better off because of it. What you're doing now is going to shape you for the rest of your life. And I really mean that. Like, I can't imagine my life without basketball, and what it's done for me personally, and the coaches that I've had and the teammates that I've had, even Winchesky. I mean, I'll even include Winchesky in there. No, I mean, it's something that I couldn't see as a 18-year-old kid where my path was going, but what he's doing and what everybody's doing right now, and everything you're going through, that journey you're going through, is going to make you a better person, make you a better father, make you a better, a boss, a work, whatever you decide to do. This is guiding you on your path. And so embrace all of the things that come with it in the 4 months that we're together, because those 4 months are going to lead you down to success in life.
Spot on. Parker, Swim Lessons, overcoming tough times. What do you say to yourself?
When times get tough, especially in the season, which sometimes it really does, because from, going from starting in October, from open gyms, it gets to be long. So really the important thing, and I think we've done a really good job of this, is coming together as a team, making sure everybody's okay. We meet with Riley Reel every Wednesday about like a kind of like stuff like that, just like how things are going, the status of how we feel and stuff. And I think that's been really big, because that's expressed us to, open up and really tell each other how we're feeling.
Get it out there.
Yeah, so just coming together as a team really helps get through the season.
I love it. Coach, give us a quick plug where people can follow Sabre Basketball.
We are on Facebook at Legacy Boys Basketball,
yep.
And Twitter is Legacy Boys Basketball. And do we have an Instagram page? I'm not a big social media guy. Like, I'll go on Twitter to steal plays, or
so
something that I'll see. Oh gosh,
there's
such good things that I've already bookmarked and things like that. But we have Facebook and Twitter for sure. I think we started an Instagram page as well. Yeah, so we let our boosters take care of the social media. But yeah, we have those three main ones.
Parker, how about you? Where can people follow your journey?
I'm on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. I'm on there, and I'm also on Instagram, and I'm on Facebook.
I'm still waiting for a follow back. It's all good.
I got you after this.
Just kidding, buddy.
So high maintenance. I love it.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, this is going to be fun. It's going to be on psp.network. Make sure you buy that if you're listening to this. And closing thoughts from you, Coach, as we end this podcast.
Well, closing thoughts on the tournament. It's awful.
it's going to be tough. I feel bad for you.
I'm excited for the kids. Like I said, I remember it goes so fast. I remember being him.
Yeah.
Like it's been over 30 years, and I still remember it like yesterday. And it's just it's such a fun experience as a kid to play in that arena in front of all those fans and to go through that tournament. So, we're hoping that we're prepared, and I think we're going to be prepared, and we're going to give it our best shot and see what happens. And we're going to be ready to go.
Hell yeah. And when I said I feel bad for you, I feel bad for you because I've coached, and when tournament time comes around, like, you don't eat, you don't sleep.
Nope.
Haven't watched enough film. I don't know if I watched enough film.
Or
Should I throw in this play?
Yep.
Yeah. Should we throw in a shoot around here before, or what should we do? So it's a lot like that.
Yeah. You want to have your guys prepared.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's going into every game. I'm always asking, are we ready to go? Like, did we cover what we need to cover, but without overloading them with information as well. So I kind of feel like it comes down to, like he said, it comes down to just maybe not scheme and stuff like that, but it's not the X's and O's, it's the Jimmies and the Joes, like that old saying. So I like our Jimmies and Joes.
Hell yeah. Parker, closing thoughts?
I'm excited for it. I'm excited to play there one last time.
It's your senior year, last ride.
Especially with the senior guys. I've been playing with them ever since we've been in middle school and elementary school. So it's definitely going to be a fun and definitely, a little emotional playing with some of those guys for the last time. If, just playing with them for the last time on that floor.
Well, listen, fellas, this has been a treat. I appreciate both your time for coming in today, and best luck the rest of the way.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
That's
Thanks for having me.
The fellas from Legacy.